Have you ever wondered if the vegetables you eat every day could be harming your eyes instead of helping them? What if the foods you trust most for your health are silently contributing to blurry vision, dry eyes, or even increased eye pressure? And here's the twist. These are vegetables you've probably been told are good for you. It might sound surprising, maybe even a little unsettling, but many eye health specialists have seen this pattern over and over again in older adults. Seniors who are doing all the right things, taking vitamins, using eye drops, staying hydrated, are still struggling with dry eyes, high eye pressure, or foggy vision. And yet, no one tells them that the very vegetables they're adding to their plate could be part of the problem. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at 5 common vegetables that seniors should either avoid or approach with caution. These foods aren't dangerous for everyone, but if you're over 60 and noticing subtle or sudden changes in your vision, it's time to take a second look at what's on your plate. The truth is, you probably won't hear this from your friends, your local grocer, or even your general physician. As we age, our eyes become much more vulnerable to inflammation, circulation issues, and nutrient imbalances. That's why it's crucial to understand how everyday foods interact with the delicate systems that keep your vision sharp. Some of these vegetables are even considered superfoods, yet they can trigger or worsen symptoms in older adults, especially those already managing eye-related conditions like macular degeneration or chronic dryness. So, if you're serious about protecting your vision and extending the health of your eyes, stick with me through this entire video, because the last vegetable we'll cover is one that's eaten with the best of intentions, but may be quietly increasing your risk for retinal damage without any obvious warning signs. Let's dive in with the first one, raw onions. They may seem harmless, just a flavorful topping for your salad or sandwich. But for many older adults, raw onions could be contributing to something they deal with every single day: eyes that feel irritated, watery, or painfully dry. You might not make the connection right away, but those symptoms could be related to something as simple as the onions in your salad. Raw onions are packed with sulfur compounds, and while those compounds give onions their distinctive flavor, they also trigger that familiar eye-stinging reaction when you slice into them. The sharp tearing, the burning sensation, that's not just a minor annoyance. It's your tear glands reacting strongly, even inflaming, in response to those chemical compounds in the air. Now, for younger individuals, this irritation is usually short-lived. Their eyes bounce back quickly, producing a healthy tear film that restores balance. But for older adults, it's a different story. As we age, our eyes naturally become more sensitive. The glands responsible for producing tears slow down, and the composition of those tears becomes less effective. This makes it much harder for the eyes to stay comfortably moist throughout the day. That's one reason so many seniors experience dry eye syndrome or describe a constant burning sensation that just doesn't go away. When your eyes are already more vulnerable, even natural irritants like raw onion vapor can tip the scales toward discomfort, and worse. And here's where it often gets confusing. Many people say, "I only eat a few slices," or "It's raw, so it must be healthy." But the truth is, even small amounts of raw onions can continue to irritate the eyes long after they're chopped. The sulfur compounds don't just disappear once they're on your plate. In enclosed or poorly ventilated kitchens, these airborne chemicals can linger, aggravating sensitive eyes without you even realizing it. There's also another layer of concern: inflammation that builds up over time. Studies show that consistent exposure to sulfur compounds, like those found in onions, can elevate oxidative stress in the tear ducts. This can gradually damage the body's ability to maintain eye moisture, leading to blurry vision or even an increased risk of corneal scratches, especially in dry, aging eyes. I remember working with Henry, a 76-year-old who was proud of his healthy habits. He ate fresh raw onions in his salad every single night, but he constantly rubbed his eyes and complained of a gritty, irritating feeling he couldn't get rid of. At first, he didn't suspect his diet, but once he took a 2-week break from raw onions and switched to gently steamed vegetables, he noticed a huge difference. The redness faded, the discomfort eased, and he finally stopped feeling like sand was stuck in his eyes. Now, this doesn't mean you have to swear off onions forever. In fact, when onions are cooked, especially when they're sautéed lightly or roasted, the sulfur compounds break down and become far less aggressive, lose most of their tear-inducing power. During cooking, the sulfur compounds in onions break down, making them much less aggressive and far easier on the eyes. So if you still enjoy their flavor, try sautéing or roasting them instead. It's a simple switch that can spare your eyes a lot of unnecessary stress. But if you're over 60 and frequently experiencing that strange combination of watery yet dry eyes, it's worth reconsidering how often you're including raw onions in your meals. Even subtle irritants can have outsized effects as we get older. What once was harmless can gradually become harmful without you realizing it. Now, let's move on to number 2, nightshade vegetables, particularly eggplant. Eggplant may seem like an ordinary, healthy choice on your plate, but for many seniors, it carries hidden risks that aren't immediately obvious. The concern isn't about calories or carbs, it's about inflammation. Eggplants, like other nightshades such as tomatoes and bell peppers, contain naturally occurring compounds called alkaloids. These compounds, while harmless to many, can spark low-grade inflammation in people who are sensitive, especially older adults or those with autoimmune issues. For seniors who already struggle with vision problems, these compounds can quietly interfere with delicate systems inside the eye. The tricky part? You might not even notice it at first. Unlike the sharp burn of an onion, this kind of inflammation doesn't make itself known through obvious pain. It creeps in gradually, possibly showing up as a vague shadow in your peripheral vision, mild swelling, or even a subtle blurriness that's easy to dismiss. Eggplant is one of the most common culprits among nightshades, and while it does offer nutrients, it can also be problematic for those with conditions like arthritis, high blood pressure, or autoimmune disorders. These conditions already put extra stress on the immune system and blood vessels, and your eyes are especially vulnerable because they rely on countless tiny capillaries and soft tissues to keep functioning clearly. As we age, our ability to regulate low-grade inflammation weakens. That means the body may no longer flush out mild irritants the way it used to. Instead, they linger, gradually affecting circulation to the retina and optic nerve. The result might be sensitivity to light, persistent puffiness, or a nagging sense that your vision just isn't as sharp as it once was. I remember speaking with Carol, a 72-year-old woman who described what she called shadow vision along the edges of her sight. She also dealt with puffy eyes nearly every morning. At first, she chalked it up to aging or fatigue. But after taking a closer look at her diet, she decided to cut out nightshades for 30 days just to see if it made a difference. From all nightshades, including the grilled eggplant she used to enjoy twice a week, she noticed an unexpected change. Her vision became clearer. The persistent puffiness around her eyes began to fade, and for the first time in a long while, she realized just how foggy her eyes had felt, until they didn't anymore. It was a shift she hadn't anticipated, all from adjusting one food in her routine. There's another layer to this. Eggplant contains a compound called niacin, which is concentrated mostly in the skin. While niacin is known as an antioxidant, it also binds to iron in the body. That may not sound like a big deal at first, but for older adults, especially those dealing with borderline anemia, low iron stores, or challenges in nutrient absorption, this binding action can reduce the amount of iron available to support your eyes. And that's a problem. Iron plays a vital role in delivering oxygen to the retina. Without sufficient oxygen, your eyes may struggle to process light, distinguish colors accurately, or keep up with rapid motion. Now, this doesn't mean everyone over 60 should completely avoid eggplant, but it does mean you should listen more closely to your body's signals. If you've noticed your eyes feeling unusually heavy, more sensitive to light, or vaguely foggy after meals that include nightshades, don't brush it off. Take note. Track what you eat. Keep a food journal for a couple of weeks and see if there's a pattern, Sometimes even a minor sensitivity can cause low-level inflammation or stress that quietly chips away at your comfort and vision quality over time. And remember, moderation makes a big difference. Even reducing your intake of eggplant or simply peeling the skin before cooking can lower your exposure to nasunin and reduce potential irritation. These little adjustments can go a long way in supporting your eyes as you age. Because when it comes to protecting your vision, it's rarely about one big fix. It's about identifying the subtle contributors, the everyday habits that, once adjusted, can preserve the quality of your sight for years to come. Your eyes are incredibly delicate and incredibly important. They deserve that extra care and attention. If you're still with me and finding this information helpful, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you won't miss any of our future videos. Your support helps us continue bringing you content designed to inform and uplift. Now, let's move ahead to number 3. Too much carrot juice. Carrots have long been associated with better eyesight, and with good reason. They're packed with beta-carotene, a compound your body converts into vitamin A, which is essential for maintaining healthy vision. But as with many things in health, balance is key. For older adults, loading up on large amounts of carrot juice every day might do more harm than good. Too much beta-carotene, especially from supplements or concentrated juices, can lead to buildup that ends up doing more harm than good. The main issue is that beta-carotene is fat-soluble, meaning your body stores the excess in the liver if it isn't used right away. Over time, this can silently throw off the balance your eyes need to stay healthy. What might begin as a well-meaning habit, like drinking carrot juice every day, can gradually start to put unnecessary strain on your vision without you realizing it. One lesser-known risk is a condition called hypervitaminosis A. It's not common, but it can develop in seniors who consume large amounts of vitamin A or its precursors like beta-carotene. When this happens, the symptoms might surprise you. Dry eyes that drops won't fix, blurry or distorted vision, a dull ache behind the eyes, and in more serious cases, swelling of the optic nerve itself. Even more curious is your body's natural defense mechanism. When it detects too much beta-carotene, it may actually begin to slow down the conversion into active vitamin A, trying to protect you from overload. So despite all those glasses of juice, your eyes may not be benefiting the way you intended. Let's take Marvin as an example. A 68-year-old retiree, he started drinking fresh carrot juice every morning, 2 tall glasses religiously, because he wanted to keep his eyes sharp. But after nearly a year, he began to notice things weren't quite right. Light bothered him more, and he often felt a dull pressure behind his eyes. A checkup revealed his vitamin A levels were significantly elevated. His doctor suggested he ditch the juice and return to whole carrots a few times a week instead. Within just a few weeks, Marvin's symptoms began to fade, and his comfort noticeably improved. And here's another important factor. Many commercial carrot juice products are mixed with fruit juices or added sugars. While they taste great, those hidden sugars can spike your blood sugar, even temporarily. And if you're managing prediabetes or diabetes, a common concern for seniors, that short-term spike can disrupt the fluid balance in your eyes and elevate pressure, adding even more strain to your vision. That's a double blow you might not even see coming. So, does this mean carrots are bad? Absolutely not. Whole carrots, eaten in moderation, remain a fantastic, eye-friendly snack. The issue lies not with the vegetable itself, but in how it's consumed, especially in concentrated, high-frequency forms that may not suit an aging body as well as we think. Fiber in whole carrots plays a vital role in slowing down how your body absorbs nutrients. Plus, the simple act of chewing helps maintain jaw strength and even supports nerve health. But when you bypass that process by juicing too frequently or cling to the old belief that the more carrots, the better the vision, you might end up doing the opposite of what you intended. Especially after 60, your body thrives on balance, not extremes. If you're drinking carrot juice every day, it may be time to scale back. Alternate with other nutrient-rich vegetables like red bell peppers or leafy greens, or simply reduce your serving size. Your eyes aren't asking for a flood of nutrients, they're asking for consistent, thoughtful nourishment. These small, complex organs are extremely sensitive to fluctuations in pressure, hydration, and nutrient levels. That's why even the most well-regarded foods can become harmful when consumed without moderation. What makes this situation particularly tricky is how easily carrot juice hides behind its positive reputation, catching many people off guard. Now let's talk about another surprising culprit: oxalate-heavy greens like spinach and Swiss chard. These leafy vegetables are commonly praised for their incredible nutrient density, rich in vitamins, minerals, and powerful antioxidants. They're the kind of foods many people proudly pile onto their plates, especially when trying to improve their health in later years. But when it comes to your eyes, there's an important catch. Spinach and Swiss chard are both extremely high in oxalates, natural compounds that, in large amounts, can interfere with how your body circulates blood and delivers essential nutrients. Oxalates bind with calcium in your body, and that interaction can form tiny crystals called calcium oxalate. While many people associate those crystals with kidney stones, they can also impact blood flow in smaller vessels, such as the ones feeding your retina. This matters more than you might think. Your eyes rely on a consistent, well-oxygenated blood supply to keep their tissues healthy and clear. Any restriction in that flow, even subtle, can quietly reduce the delivery of oxygen and antioxidants to your retina over time. The result? An increased risk of developing vision-related issues such as retinal disorders or an acceleration of conditions like macular degeneration. What makes this even more complicated is the intention behind the habit. Most older adults eat these greens because they're trying to make healthy choices. Maybe you've been told spinach is good for your heart, your bones, your brain. And in many ways, it is. But when your eyes are involved, especially if you already experience vision sensitivity, overdoing it on these high oxalate greens could be doing more harm than good. Bones, heart, immune system, yes, spinach truly supports them all. But when you consume large servings of it every single day, especially raw, you may unknowingly allow oxalates to quietly accumulate in your system. That buildup can create pressure in areas you wouldn't expect, like your optic nerve. And then there's another layer: vitamin K. While it plays a vital role in blood clotting and bone strength, consuming too much can interfere with medications such as blood thinners, which many older adults rely on. This interaction can make your body and your eyes more vulnerable to subtle vascular issues that would otherwise go unnoticed. Let me tell you about Ruth, an 81-year-old widow who made herself a generous spinach salad every afternoon. She believed it was the healthiest choice she could make. But over time, she began to notice strange visual changes: mild double vision, and a hazy gray film that seemed to fade in and out throughout the day. After reviewing her blood work and her diet, it became clear: her oxalate levels were elevated. By simply cutting back on spinach and switching to low oxalate greens like arugula and romaine, that haze lifted within just a few weeks. And the best part? She didn't have to sacrifice her nutrition. She still got the fiber, the vitamins, and that feeling of eating fresh and healthy, just without the invisible damage. So what can you take from this? If you're someone who enjoys spinach or Swiss chard regularly, consider rotating your greens throughout the week. Don't rely on one type alone. Light cooking methods like steaming can reduce oxalate content significantly. And if you're taking calcium or magnesium supplements, try not to pair them with high oxalate meals, so your body isn't overwhelmed trying to manage all those interactions at once. Ultimately, this isn't about removing vegetables from your diet. It's about refining how you eat them. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to the small things, and our eyes, especially, can suffer from those tiny imbalances that accumulate quietly over time. Most vision issues in seniors don't erupt overnight. They evolve slowly, shaped by months or even years of daily choices. Sometimes the foods we think are protecting us are actually nudging our health in the wrong direction. With spinach and Swiss chard, moderation and variety are powerful tools for keeping your eyes strong and your vision sharp. If you're still watching and you found these insights helpful, leave a comment below with the words number 4, so I know you're here and engaged. If you found this information helpful so far, please type number 4 in the comments to let me know you're still with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support helps us continue producing quality content that educates and inspires. Now let's keep going. Number 5. High-sodium vegetables. Canned and pickled vegetables often seem like a smart and convenient choice, easy to store, quick to serve, and full of flavor. But for older adults, the hidden danger isn't the vegetables themselves, it's what's added to them. Most canned and pickled varieties are loaded with sodium, used as a preservative to keep them shelf-stable. And while younger bodies may tolerate those salt levels better, aging bodies become more vulnerable, especially when it comes to blood pressure and eye health. As we grow older, our blood vessels naturally lose flexibility, and that includes the tiny, sensitive vessels in our eyes. A high-sodium diet doesn't just raise blood pressure, it slowly stresses those fragile vessels, increasing the risk of eye conditions like glaucoma and hypertensive retinopathy. Both can sneak up over time and lead to irreversible vision loss. Think about your retina, a thin, critical layer at the back of your eye. It depends on a delicate web of tiny capillaries to supply oxygen and remove waste. When sodium levels are consistently high, those vessels gradually narrow and stiffen, making it harder for nutrients to flow in and toxins to be cleared out. You might not notice right away. It could start as just a little more glare when driving at night, a bit more eye fatigue, or slower focus when switching from near to far vision. Now let's talk about Ed, a 74-year-old who loved his pickled okra and canned beets. He ate them nearly every day, thinking he was making a healthy choice by getting more vegetables into his meals. But over time, his eye pressure kept climbing. At every eye appointment, his ophthalmologist had to adjust his medication, trying to manage the early stages of glaucoma. When Ed finally started checking nutrition labels, he was stunned. The sodium from his favorite veggies added up to more than he imagined, far more than what his body could handle without consequences. He was consuming nearly double the recommended daily amount of sodium, and most of it was coming from vegetables. Once Ed made the simple switch to fresh, steamed, or frozen vegetables without added salt, something remarkable happened. His eye pressure finally stabilized after over a year of fluctuations. He didn't change his prescriptions or start a new treatment. He just stopped overwhelming his body with hidden salt. And that's the real takeaway here. So many older adults are unknowingly sabotaging their eye health by trusting foods that appear healthy on the surface. Even when a label says low sodium, a single serving can still contain several hundred milligrams. And the truth is, most of us don't stop at one serving. When that sodium builds up day after day, the stress it places on your cardiovascular system and the tiny blood vessels in your eyes can lead to real, lasting damage. If you often rely on canned green beans, pickled cucumbers, or jarred mixed vegetables, take a moment to read the nutrition labels. Look specifically for no salt added versions, or at the very least, rinse the vegetables under water before eating. That one step can significantly reduce your sodium intake. But better yet, when possible, reach for fresh or unsalted frozen vegetables instead. Not only do they usually taste better and retain more nutrients, but they also help take the pressure off your eyes, literally. It's important to remember that your eyes are nourished by the same bloodstream that supports your heart, brain, and every other vital organ. So if something strains your cardiovascular system, it's also affecting your vision. And just because something is labeled a vegetable doesn't automatically mean it's good for you in all forms. As we age, it's not only what we eat that matters, it's also how it's prepared and how our bodies respond. Tiny changes can have a powerful protective effect on your vision, and when you realize how much your independence, safety, and connection to the world depend on your ability to see clearly, those small shifts suddenly feel like the most important choices you can make. Final thoughts. As we grow older, it's only natural to become more thoughtful about what we eat. We've lived long enough to understand that food can act as powerful medicine, or, just as easily, a slow and silent harm. And while vegetables almost always carry the reputation of being the healthiest choice, the reality is more nuanced. Not all vegetables are ideal for every person, especially as our bodies change with time. Today, we've uncovered 5 vegetables that might surprise you: raw onions, nightshades like eggplant, excessive carrot juice, oxalate-heavy greens like spinach and Swiss chard, and high-sodium canned or pickled veggies. Each of these can quietly affect your eyes in ways that many people never suspect. These vegetables each have the potential to quietly work against your eye health, not because they're inherently bad, but because we often don't pay enough attention to how they interact with our aging bodies. And that's really the heart of this entire message: paying attention. Protecting your vision in your 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't just about good genetics or luck. It's about awareness, intentional decisions, and choosing foods that work with your body, not against it. Every choice you make matters. The more informed you are, the more power you hold to preserve not only your eyesight, but also your independence, confidence, and overall quality of life. So take a moment and reflect. Which of these vegetables appears regularly in your meals? Do you start every morning with a tall glass of carrot juice? Are your salads heavy with raw spinach? Do you reach for canned or pickled vegetables simply because they're quick and easy? Even small shifts, like lightly steaming instead of eating raw, rinsing canned goods before eating, or rotating in a variety of greens, can have a long-term positive impact on your eye health. These aren't dramatic overhauls. They're subtle, doable adjustments that come from caring about yourself enough to eat with purpose. So please don't take this as a warning. It's really an invitation. An invitation to use the wisdom you've gained over the years to make food choices that serve you better. Your eyes do so much for you every single day. They deserve that same level of thoughtful care in return. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one insight you took away from this video and how you might apply it in your daily life. Your experiences matter, and your voice encourages others who are on the same journey. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit too. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating content that informs, inspires, and empowers. Wishing you continued health, happiness, and peace in all that you do. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos that help you live your best life at every age.